Welcome, Crusaders, and thanks for joining me for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. We just got everybody leveled up, and we're heading out. We're going to head back to camp because we've got some death's door issues we need to take care of, and then we'll decide what to do from there. Okay, we're really close here to camp because I forgot our camp moved with us recently. Here we go. So we've got just a short little 6-hour trip. Let's see if we can make it without resting. Okay, that's interesting. This showed up as a random encounter on the road, or not a random, I guess, but an encounter on the road. And here we are in our tent. Anivia, Commander, we caught a suspicious lad on the road. He says he's an ally and he's desperate to talk to you. Who knows who he really is? The young man before you is trembling from his wounds and exhaustion. His boots are in tatters, and if he had any weapons or armor, he shed them along the way. His clothes are torn and his hair is wet, like he recently swam across a river. Blood oozes from the wounds on his chest and shoulders, and his skin is cracked and inflamed from the acrid water of the world wound. Yacker. Commander. The man breathes heavily, and the words emerge as a whisper from his dry throat. My squad ambushed beyond the river. Help. All right, give our guest some water and something for his wounds. The knight's wounds heal with the help of a magic potion. Taking a gulp of water, he catches his breath, snaps to attention, and begins again. Okay, just as an aside, I've said before how, I guess we can't see them here. The lawful dialogue choices sometimes just sound unnecessarily mean. Like, he could have asked for a proper report from this guy without sounding like a jerk, but I guess that's the way it is. Yacker Ankel, Hell Knight of the Order of the Godclaw, under the command of Paralictor Regal Derenge. Our squad is under attack by demons, far surpassing our number. Without your assistance, we are lost. Hell Knights. They've supported the Crusaders more than once in our battle against the demons. Despite their, Irabeth cringes, questionable reputation, we cannot abandon our allies in trouble. Anivia, if they really are our allies, then of course it's just... Anivia looks Yacker over closely from head to toe. I kind of think this isn't a knight at all. A real Hell Knight would be skinned alive for losing his infamous black armor. What we see here is a stranger, without rank or insignia, who wants us to march to God knows where. Kind of smells like a trap to me. Yacker, who is attacking you, and why can't you handle them on your own? Large creatures that attack from the air. Some are fighters, others are, at a guess, clerics with dangerous divine magic. They looked like stone come to life. I am almost certain they are gargoyles. They fell upon us from the sky while we were setting up camp and at our most vulnerable, and they caught our forces at partial strength. The Paralictor had dispatched some of our troops as scouting teams. The flying beasts didn't fight us, they just fell on us from the sky, grabbed our fighters, and either took them somewhere or threw them to their deaths. We were unprepared for that. Where is your squad now? Not far from here, beyond the river. Irabeth. It's not far for a single fighter who abandoned his armor and weapons, but we can't get across the river so easily. We'll have to take a detour. Even if we can save anyone, it will seriously delay our offensive on Dresden, and will give the enemy a chance to prepare. I'm curious about this response here. I guess we have to decide how zealous we are. Zeke's pretty zealous. No, we haven't been contemplating joining the Hell Knights. I want to see what happens. The Godclaws are heretics who slander Iomede's holy name. How dare you pledge your loyalty to her and to Asmodeus at the same time? We honor the Inheritor and strive to be as courageous as she is in battle, but she is a young goddess who assumed her position relatively recently. She doesn't consider it beneath her to learn from other, more experienced deities, so we are not ashamed to combine her teachings with the wisdom of those who created this world. Okay. Give me one reason why we should help you. Yacker looks at you amazed. The Hell Knights are the former allies of the Crusaders. After a pause, he adds, I cannot make promises on behalf of my command, but under the circumstances, you must be able to convince our paralictor to join your armor. Your army. Hell Knights in our army? That's just what we need. What do my companions think? Your companions look at their guest suspiciously. Sela, Hell Knights. With allies like them, we've no need for enemies. If it suited them, they'd abandon us to the demons without a second thought. But we're not like them, are we? We have to save them. Lon, looks like a trap to me. But even if he isn't lying, Dresden is our goal. If our offensive is delayed, we won't get another chance to retake the city. Sosiel, the Hell Knights are heartless executioners. Saving people from the claws of demons is a good cause in itself, but these people are doing everything they can to become just like the devils. Shelyn, forgive me, but I fear we should leave the Hell Knights to their fate and continue our offensive on Dresden. Is this Nenio here? What is the deal with this whole Foxhead thing? I'm curious. Hopefully we'll find out. Somebody said that was a bug on her portrait. There's definitely something going on. Dayron, do you recall Prelate Hullrun? Well, picture an entire army of soldiers just like him. Do we need allies like that? If they die, I shan't shed a tear. Melia, we should help them, but only if they join our forces in return. We could use some fresh blood. Woljif, Hell Knights? No, not for all the gold in the world. Don't you know what kind of people they are? One minute you're just going about your business, the next you're locked in the stocks and there's a butcher in black armor standing in front of you. Ember, I don't know who these knights are, but if there are people suffering out there, then of course we have to help. It's what we came here to do, isn't it? Crow on her shoulder croaks resolutely, supporting her words. And Nenio. Huh? What? Nenio blinks a few times, baffled. This question has no scientific significance. What's interesting is how the water in the river poisoned by the world wound will affect this boy. With your permission, I'd like to examine him or his corpse in a few days' time. Oh boy. Oh, what a choice. I think I'm with Sela on this one. They probably wouldn't do the same for us, but that's not who we are. We're not going to let them just perish without trying to help. We'll take the risk and try to help them. Thank you, Commander. Our forces are here. The knight points out the location on your map. The situation is critical. Please send your reinforcements as soon as possible. I will go ahead and meet you there. Okay. Wow. Well, another seemed like fairly consequential decision there that we just made. Hopefully it doesn't hurt our ability to retake Dresden eventually. Our mysterious elf that's been wandering around is in our tent now. They're probably going to yell at us for getting in their face, but they're going to come into our tent. I don't think they can complain too much. Anivia, a wounded elf, huh? Well, there were lots of wounded in Canabras. Who wounded him? In what way? Anivia appears relaxed, even nonchalant, but her eyes gleam attentively, and her hands, as if by coincidence, are resting on her belt next to her weapon. How should I know? It must have been demons. If the wound was serious, I doubt he has fully recovered from it. Maybe if you could point me toward a healer, I could... The woman, wrapped in rags, all the way up to her eyes, turns around at the sound of your footsteps. Damn it. Did she just kick her? Oh, yeah. In a lightning-fast motion, Anivia knocks something from the woman's hands. An amulet that seemingly appeared out of nowhere. She was going to try to disappear again. It falls to the ground and disappears in a flash of magic. What's the rush, sweetheart? Stay a while. The commander and me, we've got a couple questions for you, too. You won't escape this time. Who are you and why are you hiding your face? You hear a heavy sigh coming from under the shawl. Fine, you've got me. We'll talk, but not here. Lead me somewhere away from prying eyes. She's all yours, Commander. I caught her. I handed her over, and now, as they say, I wash my hands of this whole affair. Mysterious elf, what do you want from me, soldier? Just want to know what you're doing hanging around here. In an exasperated gesture, she rips the half mask off her face, and you see her black skin and crimson eyes. It's Kaylessa, the elf you met in Canabras. Ah. Why did you follow my army? To find someone. Kaylessa lets out a resigned huff. Oh, she's looking for that Thorn Autumn Haze. His masters want me dead, which means I will die sooner or later. After a pause, she narrows her eyes and spits out, but that doesn't mean I'll lie down and accept my fate. I am no lamb to the slaughter, and I won't be waiting for a kindly executioner to come for me, knife in hand. Never again. Are you a spy? Her scarlet eyes flash defiantly, and she mutters through her teeth. I'm not going to hide it. I have come here to commit a violent and bloody act. But I do not serve the demons, and I won't do you or your forces any harm. Don't play coy. I need details. Why? Frowning skeptically, she gives you an appraising look. And what will you do with my story? Take it into account and pass your judgment? Kill me if you deem me a reprobate? Help the poor girl if you don't? Well, I haven't asked for help, and your authority to judge me seems rather dubious. Failed a perception check. She's lying to you, and it's plain as day. Jeez. I don't like either of these choices. Alright, I guess I'll leave you be. She shrugs casually as if her fate had not been hanging in the balance just a moment ago. How nice of you, soldier. Don't call me soldier, I'm the commander of the crusade. She shrugs. Everyone's a soldier in a war, generals and privates alike. I look at you and I see someone whose life is war and only war. That makes you a soldier. I met other elves who looked like you. They served the demons. Anamora's minions. The words escape her lips before she's able to stop them. Then she looks at you with visible irritation. They were the ones who ambushed us on the road. They pretended to be nice guys hanging around a campfire, and they ended up trying to kill us. One of Daskari's servants is a powerful elf by the name of Anamora, and those corrupted elves are her lackeys. Don't ask me how I know this, or why my appearance is similar to theirs. I'm not your enemy, but if you see them, kill them without remorse. Attack, you look suspicious. No. Alright, I guess we're done here. My gut tells me it's time I was leaving too. It's dangerous to stay here. Farewell, soldier. Alright. Okay, we need to rest. Okay, I see. So we need a better scroll scriber's kit. It would be nice to be creating some haste scrolls when we have the opportunity. We'll go to the blur here. We picked up haste on Woljif when we leveled up. So that is going to be really nice to have. I'll go into some of the...
sword is an extension of my arm. So is my...
I'll go into some of the other things we added when we leveled up when it makes sense. I suppose I ought to level up the other folks hanging out here at camp. Do that eventually. The other thing I'm keeping an eye on this. We're creeping really close to the neutral here. Really need to find some lawful responses that we can stomach choosing. Before we head back out into camp, let's just check in real quick again with Anivia. All right, nothing new there. We did grab on Zeke here, remove fear and litany of entanglement. It's kind of nice. You can use it as a swift action to potentially entangle a single target. And then he also grabbed heroism. Figure he can throw that on himself regularly. Just going to kind of see if there's anything that we need to do here at camp again before we head back out. Check in with Ember here. Eagle Watch Crusader. Hey, little one. They say you can do magic. An old silver-haired fighter sizes Ember up skeptically, apparently baffled to find such a young girl in the middle of the war. He is cradling his wounded arm, which has been hastily bandaged. Can you heal me?
Yes.
Of course. Ember whispers a spell and touches the bloody bandages. Thank you, that's so much better. The soldier rips off the blood-caked rags and strokes the healthy skin underneath them. How old are you? You're only a child. I have a granddaughter at home, just like you. Oh, little girl, how did you end up here? What are you doing here in the thick of it with us? Ember gives him a lighthearted smile. I'm just like you. I came to the thick, so that the thick wouldn't come to the other kids, like your granddaughter. Well, I'll be. So little, and yet more courage than some officers. The old man runs his rough hand over her hair, and she smiles at him again. The crow on her shoulder rubs its head on his hand like a cat. Talking to you takes a load off my mind. I reckon it's not just my arm you healed. The soldier leaves, shaking his head pensively. Ember waves happily, then turns around and notices you. Hi. Do they often come to you for help like this? Demons keep hurting them. I keep healing them. But you know, it's surprising. So many soldiers come to me. They say I bring them comfort, that I give them strength. But I don't do anything like that at all. I only talk to them nicely. I'm just a feather-brained little girl. What if something I say is wrong? Maybe I should keep quiet. But I can tell that my words make them feel better. I guess I'm confused. Don't second guess yourself. You're helping all of us. The soldiers, our companions, and me. You think so? I think I'm just wandering around saying silly things. She taps a scarred finger on her cheek and then breaks into a smile. All right, it must be true if you say so. I was in the middle of selling some things here to Wilser. Noticed we have this amulet of blackened mirror that we picked up at some point here in the camp. We ought to put that on someone. Looks like that might be good for Ember here. Whenever the wearer uses a hex, the DC of the saving throw against it is increased by 1. Yep. Definitely. Throw that on. I've also got this heavy crossbow we picked up. I don't know if anybody needs that. Okay, we could actually throw that on Sosiel as an option for him. Okay, somebody pointed out to me that they thought the Marching Terror was a lot better than the Dark Horn that we've got on Sosiel. I did actually sell the Marching Terror to Wilser. We could buy it back for 4,000, but I guess I would take other opinions as to whether that's worth the $4,000 to put that back on him. I mean, the Dark Horn is more damage. We don't get the chance to frighten enemies, but he's, I feel like, so rarely attacking anyway that I don't know. I'm not sure that's worth it, but open to opinions on that. We could buy that back. It's not that much. We really needed to. Anybody else here that we want to talk to at the moment? I think we've caught up with Sela. Haven't been... Well, we haven't talked to Darren. We need to, at some point... Yeah, we need to visit Heaven's Edge with him. I think we were supposed to ask him for an invitation. So I'd love to visit Heaven's Edge and see the Arenday estate someday. Oh, I was just about to mention it myself. I've been thinking, now that I'm in the middle of this whole crusade nonsense, I simply must devise new ways to have fun. With all the recent commotion, my birthday completely slipped my mind. What if we were to celebrate it at Heaven's Edge? It's not far from here, and you'll get to enjoy a banquet in a bona fide haunted house. Darren seems to have trouble getting the words out, which clearly indicates how rarely he has to ask for anything. Since you're my superior and I'm your advisor, I am obliged to ask your permission to leave for the festivities, and I want to invite you too. I'm sure the commander can free up an afternoon while the soldiers are on leave. Are you really going to throw a banquet at the very place where your whole family died? Daron purses his lips for a moment before replying in a bored drawl. Yes, what of it? Am I supposed to weep and quake with fear for the rest of my life? I've stayed away from the damned place for 10 years, and now I'm going to return there to drink, dance, and be merry without a care in the world. You can keep your squeamish disapproval to yourself. So we could wait till after Dresden, or do it now. I mean, what do I know? We might as well do it now. Deal. Perfect. You'll have a ball, I'll make sure of it. Something strange flickers in Daron's smile. Heaven's edge has been revealed. Okay. People say that you are deliberately trying Queen Galfrey's patience. Is that true? Does it even matter? All of Mendevian high society has declared war on me. They either despise me, or they're trying to steer me back onto the right path. And I'm doing everything in my power to keep them on their toes. I relish the prospect of all the fun this mess in Canabris will bring. Daron grins from ear to ear. I shall either commission a song about the great Canabris fiasco from a certain talented bard, or confuse the jewelers with a rather tall order. A batch of silver dragon toys with detachable heads. Give me a week and they will be in every shop in the capital. The heroic dragon who died for our future deserves respect, not your mockery. She's dead. She doesn't really care, and I shall enjoy 3 or 4 minutes of rather pleasant thoughts about the rage of those sanctimonious fools who pestered me the most. How do you like your new role, advisor? Daron winces. You also enjoy poking me with that stick, don't you? I imagine it, me, a crusader. If my dearest cousin hoped to teach me a lesson, she managed it perfectly. An assignment I couldn't avoid without losing face. This idiotic journey leading straight into the demon's maws. I could have been on a pleasure boat right now, with the loveliest songstress in Pitax on my arm, and a bottle of the finest Cayenne wine to keep us company. Did you also receive a fraction of that unusual power? Looks like it. I genuinely hoped that getting away from you would be the end of it. If your gift truly did come from Iomade, then giving me a smidgen of that power was a very subtle joke on her part. I had no idea that our divine Lightbringer of Mendev even had a sense of humor. Don't get me started on my many acts of sacrilege against her. That obscene engraving, the truth about the test of the Starstone, is the tamest one by far. Okay. Oh yeah, people were also saying we need to like re-loot these tents. That after our initial visit into them, they've been restocked with loot. Yeah, definitely. Foreign autumn haze is hiding out in here. Well, buddy, it's a good thing that Kaylessa didn't look inside here. The elf before you casually rests his bandaged arm on the weapon at his side. He bows his head with dignity. I congratulate you on your new rank, Commander. My hunt demanded that I travel with your army. Naturally, I wouldn't burden your forces with the need to care for an outsider. I've provided myself with all the necessities. I met some other elves that looked just like Kaylessa. A gloomy shadow crosses his face. He remains silent for a while, then says reluctantly, a few years ago, a sect of demon worshippers was uncovered in Cayenne. They were followers of Discari, who had been brought together by his priestess, Anamora. Naturally, as soon as the truth was revealed, a hunt for these evil zealots was called. They were all marked with the same brand of darkness as their leader, the wicked Kaylessa. The sect was soon destroyed, but some of the cultists managed to escape. I pursued them in order to eradicate their evil, root and branch. Sighing heavily, his lip curls in an expression of bitterness. It is a great shame that the children of a noble nation have besmirched themselves with this taint, and I would be grateful if this confession were kept between us. How did we tell him Kaylessa was here? I just noticed, is that Sosiel there painting? I found Kaylessa spying on our camp. Then you should be on the lookout for her accomplices. Her demonic masters must have sent her to plot against you. And since she's already made her way into the camp, she will strike soon. Yeah, I'm just not sure that that's actually the case here, buddy. I hope you weren't as merciful with her this time. No, we let her go. She's not a threat to the Crusaders. A resigned sigh burst from his lips. Then she has deceived you once more. Well, probably, but we'll find out. Alright, Sosiel? Can we see your painting? He's just getting started, I guess. Just mocking up some sketches. He's got a lot of paint on his palette, but it doesn't look like any of it's making it to the canvas there. Let's see if he has anything new to talk to us about. Sosiel's painting, a cleric and his young acolyte. He skillfully conveys the contrast between wise maturity and fervent youth, while also expressing the deep faith that unites the pair. Sosiel notices you and lowers his brush. Commander. Good afternoon, Commander. How can I help you? Tell me about yourself. To be honest, I don't have much to tell. I had done little with my life until I met you. But if you want to know anything, just ask. Where are you from? From Andoran. I grew up on the outskirts of Carpendon, a large, rich city surrounded by gardens and vineyards. Just imagine, miles and miles of greenery and fragrant orchards. Sosiel inhales with pleasure as if he could still sense the aromas of his faraway homeland. My family had a small winery. I worked there from a young age. I pressed juice, did a little carpentry, painted, and one day I discovered I could do more with paint than simply cover walls with it. There was a temple of Shelyn nearby. My brother and I would often spend our days there listening to music and enjoying the stained glass windows. As a boy, my brother decided to devote himself to serving the Eternal Rose. Our parents hoped that at least I would remain to run the family business, but he makes an apologetic gesture and flashes a disarming smile. It can't be helped. The goddess called me too. It's all right. I have plenty of cousins, second cousins, and other relatives. When this war is over, I'll go back there and see how they're doing. So you're an artist. The cleric smiles shyly. That's too grand a word for it, but yes, I love to paint and I know how to. Of course, a crusade isn't the best place for art. What I managed to draw here is at best sketches. I hope when this war is over, I'll be able to turn them into real paintings. Fascinating. May I see your sketches? There's nothing special in them, but if you're really interested. Sosiel hands you a folder filled with pencil sketches. You recognize familiar fighters in some of the portraits. The cleric drew them without flattery, just as they are. But beneath the features that seem boring and even ugly in life, Sosiel's hand has found inner beauty, power, and dignity. The tired faces of soldiers, covered with wrinkles and scars, resemble an army of angels. There are landscapes in the folder as well. At first, you don't understand why these blooming hills, shady groves, and shimmering springs seem so familiar, but you have passed by these places as you traveled around the Whirlwind, though you saw them darkened and maimed by demonic influence. Sosiel's pencil has restored them to their former beauty, which the demons stole from them, and which the Crusaders are fighting to return. Instead of working as a craftsman, you decided to serve a deity, an interesting turn of fate. Sosiel nods with a smile. Some clerics are proud of their tender hands, which have never touched anything heavier than a brush. But there is nothing ugly about hard-earned calluses. Indeed, I should say that saving the world is easier with strong hands. The smile disappears from Sosiel's face and he looks down, adding, I'm sorry these hands couldn't save the people who died in Canabris. How did you end up in Canabris? A grim shadow falls over the cleric's face. I was hoping to find Trevor in the city, my brother. After my brother took his vows and was ordained a paladin of Shelyn, he departed for the crusade. He wrote home often about everything he saw, his battles, the people he helped. From his letters, I learned that he had joined the Eagle Watch in Canabris. But soon his letters became infrequent, and then they stopped altogether. We feared news of his death, but silence was our only answer. Not a word from him, or from his command, or his brothers in arms. Nothing. In the end, I couldn't wait any longer, and I came here myself to find Trevor if he's still alive, or his grave if he should have perished. But my brother seems to have vanished. I tried asking the other paladins, but they refused to talk to me, and it's very much like they're trying to avoid the need to lie. I sent official requests to their order's command, still I wait in vain for an answer. I joined the local church of Shelyn, hoping to find out the truth one day, but the city was attacked by demons. Okay, here's a lawful choice we can get behind. You show commendable persistence. In the face of such trouble, most would give up the search and leave. Yes, persistence. The cleric's eyes stare into the distance. You know, I got that from my brother. Trevor never gave up. If he had to wait, he waited. If he had to use force, he did. When he fell, he always got up and got me up too, though I was so much weaker than him. I could never betray everything he taught me. How did you end up at the court of Queen Galfrey? The cleric looks down. When the city was attacked by demons, there was a hospital in our church. Every one of us was prepared to fight to the last, to cover the evacuation, but our Mother Superior wouldn't let me join the fight. She sent me for help, and everyone who stayed was killed. Why did she choose me? Maybe it was because I was new, the youngest and least experienced of the clerics, and I wouldn't be much help in battle. Or maybe she was giving me a chance to survive while the rest of them bravely died. Shelyn, be my witness, I did not ask for this. I would be honored to lay my own head next to theirs. I ran to the closest Mendevian garrison. I don't know by what miracle I got there. There were demons all around and everything was on fire. I remember my horse was killed right under me while I fought off some shrieking monsters. But when I came to, I awoke among friends. My first thought was that it must be a dream. In my delirium, Queen Galfrey herself was dressing my wounds. But it was true. It was the queen herself, tending to a lowly warrior. That's how I ended up in her army. I marched with them back to Canabras, to the ruins. That's a mean thing to say. I don't think we're gonna do that. How do you manage to always look like you're on the way to a tea party, not a battle? What is a servant of the goddess of beauty doing in a war zone? I'm doing what the goddess destined me for, to keep our fighters safe. I'm confident in our victory. The gods of good are on our side, so we cannot fail. But victory is not enough. I do whatever I can to help those who are holding off the forces of the abyss, so they may live long enough to see victory, without losing themselves along the way. Okay, I don't... I feel like this is leading into something we're not interested in. This is too mean to say. So I think we're done asking questions about you, Sosiel. Tell me about your brother. Trevor. He's always been my hero ever since we were children. I was a coward, always telling petty lies, always running away from danger. Trevor always ran toward it. He had this saying, an army stands until peace comes. A lie stands until the truth comes out. He never lied, never let injustice pass. Never. The cleric's voice trembles and breaks, and he shakes his head. He was 8 when he said he was going to be a paladin, and he always went toward that goal, day after day, never looking back. I remember the day he went off to fight. I thought, this is it. The war will finally end. Trevor will defeat all the demons and close the world wound, but Sosiel gestures helplessly. All right. Thanks for talking to me. My pleasure. Okay, yeah, I genuinely really appreciated his story. Let's check in here with Vasily. Is there anything we need to be buying from you? There's stuff like Raised Dead Scrolls I feel like we may eventually need. We really... Probably shouldn't say this because, like, the very next... I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these. The very next, like, battle we get into is probably going to be a giant cluster. But I feel like combat, for the most part... We've had a few things that have been pretty challenging, but for the most part, it's been kind of on the easy side. Not easy, maybe, but pretty manageable for someone who really doesn't know what they're doing. So I'm not feeling too worried about that. I'm not at all thinking that we need to raise the difficulty. I don't think that's going to be a thing for this playthrough. We're just going to enjoy the story, get through this. But I'm not feeling overly concerned about our ability to deal with combat. Picked up a recipe. I feel like we may have more as well. Moss pottage. Okay. Any other recipes? I guess not. This Hawkblade guy. He always like... I think that was him that just like teleports in here when we walk over here. Like... comes down from the heavens in a beam of light. We need to go with him then to Darren's party house. Kind of make another sweep of camp here. Pick things up. Let's see, when we leveled up, Aegis again didn't get his level. But last time it was like late to the party. Yep, okay. That's weird. Like he eventually gets the level, but it takes a while for some reason. Okay, there are a lot of things I would like to get on Aegis here as far as feats, but I feel like we need to grab outflank for him. I'd really like to get cleave on him. I would also like to grab just some of the defensive feats as well. But I think outflank will be good since he and Sela both have that. They can do some damage together with that. Okay. Well, I wasn't necessarily expecting this to be another episode heavy on the conversations, but it's kind of turned out that way. Let's check with Lon here. Okay. I think we talked to him maybe fairly recently. Nothing new there. Nenio we spoke with, I think, pretty recently.
We march ahead.
We'll leave her alone for now. Leave her to her thoughts. Whatever those may be. Queen Galfrey here. Let's actually talk to her. I think we may want to... She has an offer to... Like, we can pay her for some more recruits, I think. And I'm assuming those are recruits for our Crusade army. Not exactly sure what this means, but she needed like 7,000 gold, which we didn't have at the time, but we do have that now. All the forces I could afford to spare are either in your army already or on their way here. We could call up volunteers, but if your headquarters sends out letters and appeals in the Queen's name, everyone will know that I came with you. The demons will not miss such an opportunity. Their hordes will advance and overwhelm us. No, that is not an option. Talk to Irabeth, let her handle volunteer recruitment, and my name will remain hidden, much like my participation in the Crusade. Okay. So she initially, I think, had that offer to us, but now that she's here incognito, she's no longer able to do that for us. Irabeth, did I just walk right by her? Is she like right down here? Yeah. We have not spoken to her lately. Can you get us more soldiers? Irabeth frowns. When we began the march on Dresden, we chose speed over numbers. If I order more volunteers to be recruited, they simply won't arrive in time. We could pay mages to deliver the troops to the camp, except I doubt that our army's coffers could afford it. If you can spare 7,500 gold coins, I will see to our reinforcements. Well, we've got the money, and we're kind of, we're having trouble with our crusade management, we lost a lot of people due to our ineptitude. So let's, if that indeed, I think that's got to be what this is. We can pay $7.5 grand and get some more troops. Let's do it. Okay. Irabet says goodbye with a short bow. All right. Okay, there's one more piece of loot there we grabbed. I think we've like relooted camp again. Hylor's here. I'm tempted to maybe do some respecking of Woljif. I don't know. I wonder what happens. I won't do that now because I would like somebody to tell me, if we respec him, does he lose all of the spells that he's learned from writing them down from scrolls? Because if that's the case, we may not want to do that. Curious about that. If anybody knows, let me know. That's going to do it here for now, I believe. Next time, probably head back out and check in on Crusade stuff, and then we've got a multitude of things we can do, I think, or places to visit. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and hope to see you again here with me next time. Bye-bye.